This is Fight Forecast, and I'm your host, Dricus du Plessis. Coming up this week on the show, all the news from the world of combat sports. Former UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis breaks down the UFC 320 main card. We check in with the number 3 ranked strawweight in the One Championship Bokang little giant Masunyane. And in our main card money feature, we give you the inside track on who we think will walk away with the W at UFC 320 in Las Vegas. Let's get into what is making headlines in the world of MMA.
At UFC Perth, 4 fighters cashed in with $50,000 performance bonuses. Carlos Alberg headlined with a devastating first-round knockout of Dominic Reyes. Jimmy Crute impressed with a slick rear naked choke over Ivan Erslan. Rising star Tom Nolan added a submission win, while debutant Brando Pericic made his mark with a knockout finish. It was a night defined by big finishes and big checks. Light heavyweight champion Magomed Ankalaev has accused Alex Pereira of greasing during their first fight, saying his opponent's skin was too slick to grapple effectively. Pereira's camp strongly denies the allegation, calling it a distraction. With a rematch looming, this rivalry just got even more personal. And the biggest headline of the week, Conor McGregor is reportedly set for a blockbuster comeback at the UFC White House event. Talks are ongoing, but the plan is a clash with Michael Chandler, with McGregor set to pocket a staggering $100 million payday. If finalized, it would be one of the richest fight purses in MMA history. Outside the cage, popular streamer Aiden Ross suffered a crushing loss, dropping nearly $800,000 on a UFC parlay gone wrong. Ross picked 4 winners correctly, but his main event bet on Dominic Reyes collapsed when Carlos Alberg scored a knockout. The massive loss stunned his viewers, who watched Ross melt down live on stream. Despite banking a smaller parlay worth about $54,000, the streamer called it a massive motivational setback. And finally, in Poland, fans witnessed one of the strangest moments in MMA history. At Babylon MMA 54, Marcin Soltysik tapped out just 1 second into his debut against Jacek Kwiatkowski without a single strike thrown. Soltysik later claimed it was a protest against poor fighter treatment, but officials condemned the act as bizarre and unprofessional. Officially, it goes down as the shortest fight on record.
At Betway, we don't just reward you for playing, we reward you for staying. Introducing Betway Rewards. Earn points on every bet you place. It's that simple. You can also convert your points to cash whenever you like. With Betway, loyalty always pays off. Join the action today and start earning points.
It's time for the fight breakdown here on Fight Forecast with DDP, the former UFC middleweight champion. Let's talk about this card. It's a fantastic card. First up, Roundtree, Procházka. How do you see that going stylistically?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the best cards, especially main cards that we've seen in a very long time. I think, like it's the first one. Roundtree versus Procházka, it's a very fun fight. Now with that fight, I think it's very important because Procházka started building himself back up after that loss to Pereira. And then, of course, this is Roundtree's first fight back. Actually, no, it's his second fight after Jamal Hill. In that fight, he looked amazing. He looked great in that fight. So, obviously, he didn't suffer too much from the Alex Pereira loss. So, I think for him to win this fight, he's going to need to defend those takedowns because I think that's Procházka's key to victory, is getting the fight down. You know, people have been able to clip him in many fights. But with Roundtree, the way that guy hits, I don't think anybody really takes those clips very well. So I honestly think if I have to make a prediction in this, I'm going to go Roundtree. I just think in his last few fights, even against Pereira, he looked absolutely fantastic up until he didn't. And yeah, I'm going to pick him for that one.
Co-main event is another banger. I mean, we've got Merab against Corey Sandhagen. Merab's on a 13-fight tear. How do you see that one going down?
Well, stylistically, this fight is the most interesting on the card for me because you have this amazing pace, forward pressure fighter, and then you have a guy that predominantly fights on the back foot in Sandhagen. And it works for him. He's one of the only guys that I really know of that fights primarily on the back foot and catches guys. Now, he has this very quick, scary knees. We saw that in the Frankie Edgar fight. We saw that in a lot of fights. He just catches guys. The one thing is it's Merab. And finding a guy like Merab, where he is at this stage, it's hard to go against him. And I'm always going to pick him in his last couple of fights. I mean, well, his whole run that he's on. You can't deny him of anything. We saw him against a guy like O'Malley, who has a similar style to Sandhagen in a way, and a tall, lanky guy, likes the flashy striking, and Merab's been able to just get past that quickly. So I'm going to go with Merab in this one.
Any chance, I know this game, anything can happen, but any chance Sandhagen provides something special and surprises Merab? Is there anything you think he could surprise Merab with?
I mean, all these Sandhagen fights, you see that. And like you say, this is a fight game. With a guy like Sandhagen, at any moment, that's what makes fighting a guy like that scary. There's a couple of guys like that where, yes, maybe they lose here and there, but just to fight them, in the back of your mind, you have that the whole time. What if he catches me? Because one move and the fight's over. He's not fighting you where he's drowning you for the whole fight distance. And he has grappling, but uncomparable to Merab's, of course. But the way with his striking for Merab to come in, I mean, he can finish this fight in the first seconds, actually.
DDP, Merab is like riding this wave of confidence, but he still has to bring his A game.
Yeah, but with the Merab, look at the streak he's on, the streak he has been on for so long. He's just not one of those guys that is going to get a big hit. He's just not one of those guys. This is what he does every day. He's a workhorse. You can see him. He's all over the world. He's always training, and that's why he is the champion that he is. And I think the confidence boost for him has only been good to him. It's not something that's going to take his attention away from the game or make him work less. I think the confidence comes from the results, and I think that motivates him more to work even harder.
That bantamweight title is on the line. Now we move to the main event, and a lot of people are excited about Ankalaev against Pereira 2. We saw Ankalaev just absolutely dominate Pereira in that first fight. Do you think change is afoot for this one?
It's tough. I know Pereira took a step away for a while, and that's good. I mean, he was too active. I think a lot of people want to see these fighters being active. I like fighters that are active, but it's impressive. That's why I rate Pereira as one of the greatest combat athletes to ever walk this earth. Just the way he's been, he came in with not a lot of experience and just ran through everyone, and the best of the best. But with Ankalaev, he's big, he's strong, and in that first fight, he just had the answers to beat Pereira, and he fought a smart fight. Not necessarily the most exciting style, but he fought a smart fight. Don't give Pereira the distance where he can, catch you with those massive punches. But I mean, I've been looking at the training footage of Pereira for this one. He looks scary. He looks angry, and we'll see what that loss did to him. He has come back from a loss and came back to reclaim the title. But this fight is a big fight for him. But Ankalaev now has that confidence, of course, of being the champion. But I'm going to go Pereira on this one.
Do you think there's actually more pressure on Pereira here? Because, he's not a young man anymore. He is arguably one of the greatest ever combat sports athletes that we've ever seen, but he's under pressure after a 2-fight slide.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's going to happen here is, he's coming to prove a point. And like you say, he's not a young guy anymore. He's nearing the end of his career. So it's going to be exciting to see what he does after this, regardless of the outcome. But I honestly feel the way I saw him in training, the stuff that I saw, he looks sharper. He looks, like I said, just more intense. But the striking was never the problem. The striking was never the problem for him. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, now he knows what it feels like, but it wasn't the fact that he got taken down. It's the fact that he got smothered. And for a striker, that is not so hard to, I think he has the right people around. That's not going to be so hard to start and figure out, this is how I don't get smothered. Learn to fight in that clinch situation, because he has the elbows, he has the knees, he has all that. So he's going to need to keep his back off the fence. And I do believe that they've spent enough time on working on that. And him taking some time away from the sport was good for him. Sometimes you need to do that to, get that reset and get that hunger back.
5 rounds, obviously, in this light heavyweight title. Do you predict sort of a waiting out period, or do you think there'll be pressure immediately from Pereira or Ankalaev? Because we've seen that forward pressure that also he likes to put his opponents on the back foot, does Ankalaev.
Yeah, the thing with Pereira is he's a bully fighter in the sense where he walks you down, he's intimidating, because he hits so hard, he doesn't care if he walks into the fire. And Ankalaev was smart in the first fight to stay away and then get all the way in to smother him and get his back, put him on the back foot. You don't, when Pereira's on the back foot, he's not the best. That's not his style. But now they know Ankalaev's going to close that gap. I know Ankalaev says he's going to strike with him. I don't think that's a great idea. I really don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, I really don't see this fight going the distance this time. But I'm putting my money on Pereira to claim the title. I have to go with him.
DDP, thanks as always. There you have it. UFC 320 goes down this weekend. DDP has, of course, got Roundtree, he has got Merab, and he's got Pereira to reclaim his title. It all goes down, and we'll keep you up to date with all that on the next episode of The Fight Forecast. As the saying goes, dynamite comes in small packages. And that is certainly true for one championship's number 3 ranked strawweight, Bokang Masunyane, who, despite being just over 5 feet tall, stands head and shoulders above the competitors when it comes to overcoming adversity. This is his story.
He is one of the rising stars in the One Championship. His wrestling has seen him enter the promotion as a title contender and with the backing of a gym that has become a production line for champions. Bokang Masunyane is an athlete to keep an eye on, but his life has been far from easy. He has had to overcome being orphaned at 2 and living in foster care, which left a young BK with little hope.
You know, growing up as an orphan, sometimes there's a point where it feels like the world is just as small. And once you get to experience the world, once you get to see the different things in the world, it's incredible, you know? There's so many bad things about the world that they put in the news, but there's so much greater things that you get to experience, you know? So as a kid, I'll tell myself, just hold on, you know? Just hold on, be patient. Enjoy every single step of the journey because this is an abundant life, you know, it's a beautiful life.
Everything changed when BK discovered wrestling.
I found my love really just from watching, you know, things like WWE, the inspiration of Jackie Chan, you know, as kids at that time. I think we're fortunate to still be able to play rough, and I really had a love for it. And as soon as I started wrestling, it was one of the things that gave me the most freedom.
The man known as Little Giant brings next-level wrestling to his arsenal of weapons and is determined to prove that anything is possible despite the obstacles that might hamper the journey to success.
I feel like this little guy taking giant steps into the open world. So I feel like the name Little Giant says it itself. And if you look at it in fights or any sports that I had played, I've always been the smallest guy. Basically the underdog, and I've always came out on top, and I think Little Giant is a great example for it.
His mission is clear: to become a world champion, something he has been fixated on from a very early age.
So as a kid, I've always wanted to be a world champion, you know. I know that I am capable of becoming a world champion, and that's something I've always wanted to become. So mark my words, within the next few years, I'm gonna be a world champion.
This Sunday in Las Vegas, UFC 320 packs a punch with a stacked main card. In the main event, Magomed Ankalaev opens as favorite versus Alex Pereira. Why is Ankalaev getting the edge? He's already beat Pereira via decision in their first match, and the bookmakers believe he has the tactical control and consistency to replicate it. Pereira's had to undergo a tough weight cut. Early report says he's as heavy as 234 pounds, meaning his cut down to 205 has been tough. DDP has the former champ Pereira to regain his title. In the co-main event, bantamweight champ Merab Dvalishvili is a strong favorite versus Sandhagen. Dvalishvili's grinding pace, takedown pressure and fight mileage give him a clear edge over Sandhagen's more explosive but less steady game. DDP predicts the machine to continue his winning run. Keep your eyes on Procházka versus Roundtree Jr. Procházka's got elite fight IQ and sneaky power, but his style can leave openings. DDP picks Roundtree to get the W. Also, Joe Pyfer is a slight favorite versus Abbas Magomedov in a middleweight tilt. Yusuf Zalal is a surprise favorite in his scrap versus Josh Emmett. DDP has Pyfer and Zalal to triumph in Las Vegas. So that's main card money for UFC 320. Odds favor the steady grinders, but the fight game loves chaos. Odds provided by Betway, subject to change.
So Sandhagen, very technical striker, very good, unpredictable striking. But Merab's gas tank and just the grind and the wrestling style. I'm gonna be very biased and choose Merab. And it's just that I like the way he's so relentless with his wrestling. He never stops and he just grinds. Even if you stop 1 or 2 takedowns, after a while, 10 more takedowns will come through. So, my own opinion, Merab takes the win. Yeah, I think Ankalaev was very smart with the pressure, forward pressure, and just clinching against the fence. And I think Powhatan would have been more smarter by angling off and trying to pick his shots. So I think if Powhatan fights the way he fought the last fight, it's going to be Ankalaev all the way. But I feel like if Powhatan utilizes his angles, I think Powhatan will take it just because of the power of his striking. Chama.
I'ma always win.